Okay, I would like to go ahead and introduce Marie-Claude Vidal, who is the food tourism manager at Destination Sherbrooke in Quebec. And Marie-Claude is in a very unique location because you're very close to the US border, you're very close to Ontario, and it has created some interesting challenges in marketing food tourism in your particular region. So I'm sure you all have had a chance to read Marie-Claude's biography on the website. So why don't we just turn it over to you, Marie-Claude, and let you tell us how you do what you do.
All right, thank you, Eric, for the introduction. Well, I'm very happy to be with you guys today and talk to you about how we try to balance our multicultural food tourism challenges, which we have quite a bit of. We're in Sherbrooke in the province of Quebec in Canada. So we have a country with two official languages, French-speaking Quebec French, which is a bit different from French from France, and English speakers were the only province where we speak French, and the rest of Canada, the main language is English, really. So, we are not a big city, quite a small city, about 170,000 population, and we have. I was loving the speech of Manu this morning with the human part, because we actually usually made a tourist guide which is normal, I would say, like what to do, where to eat, where to stay. We're responsible for the marketing for Tourism Sherbrooke. And then this year, we just are trying something new to really make the human way come out more. So we have a new magazine which will be coming out, and I interview 8 persons from different backgrounds in the city of Sherbrooke, some citizens, some came to stay here, and just to show how they view the city, how they view the food here. They all had really something interesting to say about it, and make people discover the city through their eyes and connect with them too, because they all are so different that even we had some children, so families will most likely look more into what they had to say. So we think it's a great way to do marketing now for tourism, and just to make people feel connected. So when I asked them what they think of Sherbrooke, most of them will tell me that it's like a welcoming mother cooking for all its multicultural citizens and visitors. I thought that was really cute and a great way of viewing it. We have a mix of Quebecois, French, English, First Nations, numerous immigrants from all over the world too, because lots of them, they come to stay in Montreal, which is the biggest city of Quebec, and then it's really big. So then they come to Sherbrooke and really enjoy our closeness to nature, because we're a small city. We have lots of nature, lots of local farms, local producers, which we work a lot with. So it's really a mix of all the convenience of having the services of a city, but mixed with the nature and the local producers that we can access quite easily. So we have lots of international cuisine, because it's a must to suit all of the needs of our visitors. And especially during the pandemic, people couldn't travel out of the country. So people would come visit us and have a traveling through their palates, like they could taste from all over the world, but being in the same city, not having to go around with their passports. So we have this gourmet culture in Sherbrooke. We've been working on food tourism for years now, hands in hands with our local tourism association, which has always been really big on that market. And we try to really promote food tourism. It's in our main development that we try to have visitors for that, because we think it's very important, and it's a great way to discover an area, and you need to eat wherever you go. So it's always a part of traveling. So we think it's very, very important. Our situation, we're a bilingual city. We have a borough called Lennoxville, and we have a university there where people can learn in English, and people mostly speak English in this area. And the rest of Sherbrooke, it's pretty well French, Canadian predominant. And you can be served in both languages anywhere. As Eric would say, we're only 30 minutes away from the United States border, so we get lots of visitors from the United States which don't speak French at all. And we're 3 hours away from Ontario and Ottawa. We have lots of people that came to study in Lennoxville and work in Ontario then, so they love to come back to visit us, and they have this attachment to our city because they studied here. So we try to have them come back and be served in both languages, so they feel welcome also. There would be rivalries between French and English, but then it's years ago. Like people, we just try to make them work together, understand each other's differences, and then learn from each other and come out stronger this way. And I think it's worked well, and people love to discover the areas of the city. Like if you want to feel a little getaway, just going in Lennoxville, it's a little different than the rest of the province because it's really English. So we have the region that is really bilingual too, of Eastern Townships, Canton de l'Est. We even have both names to promote it on different markets. We have lots of restaurants for a small city, and we try to make them all work together so we can bring more people to come and visit us. We have an annual restaurants week in October. It's been 9 years now that we did this promotion. We have about 25 restaurants working together, promoting all the same image of the restaurants week, having the same promotion, and it's really been working well. The beauty of it is just that we sit with them all together and they can share around the table their different concerns, their different problems, and share solutions together and working together towards different solutions. And they have this fraternity, they become friends and share the products that they discover through different producers. And so it's really become something they really enjoy, and we sit with them at least twice a year. And I think that's a great way to have all the promotion around the restaurants the way we want it to go, and have us understand their realities also and try to help them with different problems that they can come through, and just have a better experience in general for the visitors and the tourists also. They all benefit from it. The public awaits it every year. We get emails and a message months in advance to know if it comes back and which restaurants are going to be part of it. So it's really been a success from the first year. So that's something we'll continue to do and promote for sure. And they are such different, like we have vegan food, but then we have more burgers, and it's a really big wide variety of different foods. So that's where all the visitors, they can find something that they enjoy with the variety of restaurants. So it's been really working out well, and it's a promotion that's been working out well in all the cities it's been, because it started in New York, but it's all over now in the United States and Canada. Most big cities have a restaurants week like that. So we think it's a great way to promote also. So that's the gourmet culture of Sherbrooke. Like we have such a big wide variety that it's just not easy. I work at marketing and promotion to just go through one of them. Each one of them has their own specificities. So we try to make them work all together under one strong image, and then you can discover every one of them through this image and find what's best suited for you. So it depends on the way you feel, of course, what you want to eat, because you're not always on the same page like every day. So we try to have, a little bit for everyone. So that's another thing that the people would tell me, that Sherbrooke is like a mother cooking for all of his multicultural citizens and visitors. So we're really welcoming, and people from United States, when they come visit Quebec, sometimes they're scared that we won't speak in English and that they can't be served in this language. So That's not a problem here. It might be in some other cities in the province, but we made them well known that they're very welcome here and that you can have a taste for everyone in our city here. Oops, sorry, I got my presentation started over. We, as I was saying, work a lot with the local food. We encourage the restaurant owners to work with the local farms and producers. We organize events, meetings and tastings for them. So we invite the producers and the chefs, restaurants owner and food tourism actors to taste the producers through these events and discover new producers to cook with and new recipes that they come up with, and it's always very popular. We try to do this about twice a year. We have the events in the area. We invite people from all the area of the Eastern Townships, which is the region that we are a part of. We don't limit only to Sherbrooke, and it's always very popular. We also do it in Montreal because we try to get our local produce to be known across the province. So the chefs in Montreal also work with these producers. Also in the farmers market, which we have a lot of in summer all across the province. So we try to make them known through these different markets also, and the restaurants owner. They always, I like to come the producers also for the restaurants week, because then it's always a one dish that's put in this 10 days, and then they can have discounts with the volume for the restaurants week, and then they can start new relationships with new restaurants owners and become partners and starting to work together. So it's a great occasion for them to meet. We work with a regional certification. It's actually not in English. They only work in French for now, but it's called Créateurs de Saveurs. They regroup about 180 producers and farmers. So there's a big variety of products there. It goes from small fruits, saffron, garlic, different meats, fishes, wine and beers. We have local craft beers also. So we try to create different promotions about locally grown foods that we have in the area. We have also farm visits available and farm tours for the food tourism actors industry. We invite them in the bus tours and we go visit the producers. So it's not only the events where they have to come and bring their stuff. We also bring the chefs and the actors to the farms to discover them and develop a great relationship with them. What we enjoy, it's our smaller scale. We have these small restaurants, but they come serve their clients, explain what's in the dish, say where it's coming from, also from the local farms. So people really do enjoy this way of being served in most of them. We have lots of restaurants which use such seasonal ingredients that they change their menu weekly in sync with what's available at the local producers. So the clients really enjoy it because they get surprised weekly on what's available, and it's a really great experience. And you know that you're going to get really fresh food because it's coming from the local area. So that's something that we really do promote also. That's an example of a tastings event that we did between the producers and restaurants owner. So we provide the place, we make the invites, and all they have to do is show up and producers with what they have to show off, and then the chefs come and taste and discuss new recipes that they could put up with these new produce. There are always new ones. So it's always a really nice event that I quite enjoy myself to go taste the new produces that we have there. So we make them in Sherbrooke and in Montreal, as I said. So we try to promote it around the province so it gets known. And in Ontario, they even know some of the producers from the Eastern Townships and ask them when they come around to visit us because they heard about it and how good it was. So we're really trying to make these producers well known. We during the pandemic, as I told you before, we usually have a local tourist guide. But then when people couldn't get away from the country that much, we try to make a local foods road trip so people in the area and in the province could just discover their own place. So we had a chef, like this example, it was the Township's grilled cheese. We had all the ingredients with a road map where you could have a nice day trip, go around driving, not too far ways, but then you could just go to have the bread at the bread store, and then go to the local grocer to get the duck eggs and the cheeses, which we are very big on in the area too. We have some really nice cheese that won some world prizes, so it's renowned. We have the curd cheese in Quebec, which is only made here and you can't have it anywhere else. So I have friends in Alberta at the other side of Canada, and they ask me when I go visit them to bring some curd cheese because it's only fresh for 1 or 2 days and you can have it only in Quebec and not anywhere else. So it's something we promote too. In this particular recipe, there was the local beer, the chef bière, which is with the name of Sherbrooke because they only use the ingredient from Sherbrooke City to make it. So this particular beer, there's only local products in it. So people also from Sherbrooke really enjoy it and they're glad to have it. And they have also it available in Montreal, and it's getting well known. So we want to get known for our local food and producers and beverages also. So we actually had a runner-up prize for the World Food Travel Association for this leaflet we put together. We did it in collaboration with our surrounding regions and with 3 local chefs, which suggested us the recipes, and they really only used the local producers. And we chose, of course, some nice producers which you can visit, and they have a tourist experience at the same time. I love the menu speech this morning because we are actually working on a new promotion with the coffee shops of the area, and we'll put it up mostly in the fall season because in our area we get the fall foliage, which is the colors of the leaves in our trees. They get beautiful in the fall season. It's red and orange and yellow. It's really beautiful, and people come from all over the world just to see this. It only lasts about a month, and we thought the weather gets colder too, so we thought what better way to discover it and then stop in a local coffee, have a nice warm beverage, and talk with the owners because they have small coffee shops in Sherbrooke, and the owners work there, the baristas, and the local people go there. So you can exchange with them, meet the locals, know the secrets of the area and what you should do while you're here. So we're gonna put up a bunch of coffee owners together with a bilingual signature so everyone would understand it, and really encourage people to go visit them also. So the coffees we choose also serve locally made treats, so they are also friends with the producers, and also make them all work together. It's becoming a really nice network because they all then after they meet through our tables then keep in touch and get together and have some ways of sharing together. So it's a great way to make them work together. We have also 6 microbreweries also in Sherbrooke. So again, we make them work together for a stronger reach, even if they're not the same. So we have bigger ones, smaller ones, French owner, English and Quebecois owner. So we put together a leaflet with them with the craft beer tour, which is bilingual, of course, as everything we do. So you can have a walking tour, or you can have make the 6 with a driving tour and a designated driver, of course. But all the local craft beers, they have also some alcohol-free products, some alcohol-free beers or other drinks. So you can have some for everyone. And we put together the tastings that they can offer, so you can taste the different products that they have together. It's become really big in Quebec, the local craft beer. We have festivals around it now. So people really are enjoying more what's locally brewed than a big provincial brewery like they really like to enjoy. And the Ciboire, for example, works a lot with the small fruits and different beer savored. So they have these new products available monthly. Sometimes they go out of it because people enjoy it so much, and then they have to do some more. They have lots of tests that they make. So it's really quite interesting, and people come back and try to taste the new ones. So it's really like the restaurant changing their menus. The beers also change with the seasons, depending on what's available to put them in. There's also another thing we put up a couple of years ago. We have the townships trails in the area, which is a 400 kilometers road trip that we have around all of the area of the Eastern Townships, which Sherbrooke is a part of. And 400 kilometers was a bit much for people. It would scare them a bit away just to do all of that. So we thought we could take 4 really exceptional historic setting and houses, and which they serve the English tea at its tradition with the high tea. And then we had the English tea route put together. So we invite people to have a real true English tea experience in 4 places in the Eastern Townships. And we really had a more bigger success than we thought. Our spot in Sherbrooke is Uplands, and they had so much visitors from this English tea routes that they had no places for the entire summer was booked because they're only open in the summer season. So at Uplands, depending on the season and the weather, you could have the tea served in the gardens, which are really gorgeous, on the veranda or inside the Victorian home. And they have guides in costumes that would interpret the really English tradition, serving the tea. So you choose the porcelain cups that have different periods. It's all part of the experience, and people really enjoy it. I talked to them the other day, and they're almost completely booked for the summer already. So we said we have to make you bigger because you're too popular, but people really do enjoy this tradition too. We also have festivals and events around food that we have in the area. So this brings lots of visitors at the same time. We have Le Grand Poutine Fest. This is a Quebec dish with the curd cheese that I was talking to you about. It's really simple. It's just fries, cheese, and sauce. But Quebecers really enjoy it, and there are so many twists to it now with local producers put into it, like lake brown duck and other ingredients. So we have a big festival around it, so people can taste this dish, but with different twists, with local producers introduced in it. We have a Festival des Traditions du Monde. It's with all the immigrant people. So in one spot, you can taste food from all over the world. We work with the owners and put together a big festival around international food. We have a downtown event also where we open up the streets with our usually closed to circulation for the cars, but during these 2 days you can just walk downtown and have the little tent set up, and people just could taste local foods from the producers and restaurants. And we have also another event in a park, Sherbrooke Tambour-Champlain, which is really chef presenting some tastings with wine pairings. And then we invite chefs from France also, because we have the city of Montpellier, southern France, which is really close to us. There are lots of similarities. So we work a lot together and try to share our experience. We get lots of visitors from France also because we speak French, but a different French. So sometimes they don't quite understand. So we have to adjust to them, but it's all fun, and we just share different words in our different cultures. So in conclusion, we're a very active small destination. We're trying to combine the challenge of being attracting and working together through our regional local offer, our immigrants influences, our First Nations influences. We have a strong Quebec French and English mix, and people talk French-Glish, which we call them, because some people just talk a mix of it, and it's all cute. And we try to take it to our advantage to attract people from the United States, of course, because we're so close to them. It's so easy to just drive around and come in Sherbrooke it's a 30 minutes drive, so very easy. And then Ontario too, we have the students from Bishops and Lennoxville, which want to come back every summer to visit us and show what's new. So we have a strong bond with the newcomers and the French and English people, and try to make them work together, find the balance, and help each other to become more attractive together and attract visitors from all over the world, which is always our end goal in tourism. And we try to take advantage of our closeness to the borders and have all these wonderful people to come and visit us and taste our food that we have in Sherbrooke. So that's about what I had to tell you about our food marketing in my area.
Thank you, Marie-Claude. Very interesting. I still have not been to Sherbrooke, and I'm dying to come. So,
oh, you'll have to come and visit us for sure.
I know. I hear so many great things, mostly from you and William, but but also the awards application that you put through. It looks like a really interesting destination. I would like to ask you. You didn't talk that much about First Nations, and I know that First Nations is frequently in the conversation in Canada, especially when it comes to tourism. Yep. And there's an Indigenous Tourism Association, and the First Peoples are very active in, and I think that their voice is heard a lot better in Canada than it is in at least countries like the United States. So how do you incorporate their voice in your market, or do they want to be heard, or do you do any kind of special outreach to them? How does that work?
It's actually starting. It's not been that long since they were heard, sadly. So now we're trying to work with them more. We have a chef in Magog, which is a city close to us, which is First Nation, and now he's the chef of the parliament and for the government, and trying to show them about his food too. So we're gonna work with them more, really, and we're gonna take some advantage, like maybe next Restaurants Week we promote to use some indigenous ingredients to put them in the meal and talk about them also. So it's really something we're working on towards in the future. That's not put in place yet, but we have our, which is not in food, but our partners like the museums are really working really more with them. The new exhibits for this year will include the Indigenous influence, mostly in the Fine Art Museum. And so it's really something we're going to work on more and more in the upcoming months, I would tell you, that we haven't really done before that much, but really looking into it.
I think it's kind of a slow start with that culture. Generally speaking, when I was living in Oregon, when I first started the associations, this is back in 2001 to 2003, we did reach out to Indigenous peoples in Oregon, Washington, and Idaho. But they didn't want anything to do with us. They didn't really say they didn't put any interesting food forward. They didn't really want to be involved, and it was what it was. But I think fast forward 20 years, things have changed, and I think Canada makes it a little easier than in the United States to help. New Zealand also does a great job, and Australia too, in terms of helping their First Nations peoples to have their voice heard.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's like you say, it's really changing. It wasn't like that before, but it's becoming, and they feel more welcome too, because they didn't feel that welcome before. So maybe it's gonna really change, and we'll try to really reach out to them and see what we can do together for sure.
We had a speaker a couple of years ago who represented a tribe in South Dakota, and that was very interesting. And she was a little hesitant to even participate in our summit. And I really had to reassure her, no, we are genuinely interested in what you have to say. And she was fascinating. She really had a great story to tell. So
Yeah, well, they've been so segregated, like they're not used to being welcome like that. And it's more in the hearts area. We have one that's really singing and becoming more known. She's singing in her indigenous language, and people really like her. So they're coming out more this way for now, which is another way that we can work with them in tourism for us, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to introduce them in food industry also and see what we can get from that too.
Another part of the world that's really good with indigenous peoples is Lapland in Scandinavia. We did an event in Gothenburg in Sweden in 2013, and we had a Sami representative there. We also had a Sami dish that was on the menu. So, we certainly tried to represent various regions of Sweden, and so it was maybe ahead of our time, but
Oh, nice. Well, I'm looking for inspiration actually, so I'll just look around the world what's being made and maybe find some good ideas for us too.
We have a couple of people from Sweden attending. In fact, Bianca is in the room right now, and Annette is also registered. She was in the session earlier. They're both with Visit Sweden, so I'd be happy to introduce you to them, and I'm sure they would be happy to share with you. And also, Finland does a lot with the Sami people, and we have some people from Finland in the room too. So, all about connecting people together.
Yeah, yeah.
We do have a couple of questions here. One is, have you seen an increase in visitor interest in products with the regional certification you were talking about?
Well, people are looking more and more into local buying. We're really big on that in Quebec right now with the pandemic of everything. So they're looking for the labels. We also actually have them in the grocery stores now with one of the brands. They put together this brand, which we have a photo of the producer, buy the products and special shelves for that. And the sales for these producers went up really a lot more since they did that. So by promoting them also, we have seen the restaurants frequentations go up for these restaurants too, which they give us their numbers, of course. And then so we see the popularity of it. Like people are really looking to buy more from local, and the visitors are also interested because these products they can't get anywhere else. So it's like a way for them to discover the area because they can't taste it in their countries. So they're like, well, I'm gonna try this here,
Yeah, whenever I get to Quebec, I usually am in Montreal, and I go to Marché des Civils de Quebec because I've got my shopping, right?
Yeah.
Now, here we have another question going back to First Nations. For a lot of visitors, the First Nations cuisines can be a novelty. Can you share one strategy that has a focus of putting the spotlight on their food? Do you have any strategies yet on that?
Not yet, but as I was telling you, we are talking about for our upcoming Restaurants Week in October, trying to ask all our restaurants to have one dish with the indigenous food. So we would try that and see what's the response. Like it wouldn't, because it's always a 3-course meal. Don't have to be the entire 3-course, but maybe one of the 3-course really made from indigenous ingredients, and having a consultant with them, with the chef that we know from Magog. And maybe we will try it in the Restaurants Week, which is an occasion to test really the market because we have so many clients in this week.
Sure. Now, are you going to be using any menu messaging to tell the patrons of the restaurants what it is, what's indigenous on the menu? Because they may just see the dish and not know what it is.
Yeah. That's why we are going to work with this indigenous chef, and we're going to invite him to sit with them. And really, so they can ask him questions about this cuisine also, and he can answer them. So we really are sorry, my English is rusty. We are in touch with him right now, actually, to maybe put together a meeting with our chefs and see what we could do with them, because his food is really great, and he knows it firsthand because he's one of them, So that would be really something nice, or even maybe an event only around that. Like we're not sure yet, but we're finishing to work on the summer season, and then once we go in the fall season, we're getting there also.
Good, good. Yeah, I would just encourage get the menu messaging right because that's a huge opportunity to
Yep,
let people know.
for
Um,
sure.
Here we have another question. Back, you were talking about the English tea places. How popular have they been? Some people have the impression that some TV shows focus on the Regency era. Maybe just how popular are these English tea places?
Well, there was four places on the Townships Trail that we promote the English tea, and they all had about 200% augmentation in the frequently in the visitors that they have than they usually have. So really, maybe it's because there's a French population here, and we don't like to go to London and visit, so maybe we can have an English tea tradition here, but it's really I don't know, because we have a hard time sometimes to have the numbers knowing if it's really regional people or really visitors that did the visits. But the one in Sherbrooke saw lots of visitors, so it's really because the experience is really also a heritage experience. Like, it's really, and they have the costumes and everything, so you really feel in another world, in another decade also. So people who like culture and tradition, they would enjoy this activity very much, and it's still very popular.
Yeah, I think it's probably more popular in the former British Commonwealth countries.
Yep.
Americans, if you asked Americans about tea time, they wouldn't.
No, it's really more in Canada, like visitors from Ontario, I would tell
Yeah.
you from the numbers I got. And the Townships Trails is the same as the Loyalists that, and they just want to go back to their roots and see where it came from. And, they want to travel through time, actually, and just come back. We have lots of culture and heritage also in the area that we try to conserve also. So this is a big part of our visitors.
So anyone from the UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, they would all really look forward to that.
Yeah.
Indeed. Okay, we do have one question. Is your restaurant week like a restaurant crawl?
What does a crawl mean?
A crawl is like people do a pub crawl. They go from one pub to another to another to another. And my understanding of restaurant weeks is they're not really like that, but maybe yours are different.
We have different clienteles for the restaurant week. We have two universities, so the students, they love to eat at the restaurants, and they don't have these high budgets, so it's really cheap during the restaurant week. So the students, they would go from one restaurant to another. It's like even we see on the social media, they're like, how many are you going to try during the 10 days? And they challenge each other to go to more and more. And you have these other crowds which just try the new ones, really. So they choose one or two, and they're going to say, oh, this one I didn't know about. We all have some new restaurants every year. And so we have a little bit of mix of both, I would say, which we love, because the social media with the students trying so many restaurants is really big. And what the restaurants really love about it is they get this new clientele, because people, they try it, they didn't know before, and they like the restaurants. And then they look at the regular menu and say, oh, I'm going to come back to this place. So sometimes you will not try a restaurant where you think it's too expensive or you're not sure about. During this week, it's a good price. So you're going to go try it, and then they will go back after. So it's really a way to make them get discovered.
Yeah.
But the students, they really go through a lot. And girls' night out too, I would say, like a crowd of girls who like to eat out at the restaurants during this 10 days. We see them a lot going to a lot of these places, so they just enjoy. But then so that's the different, yeah, but some of them really do.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much how I understand restaurant weeks to work. A crawl is much different. It's usually, well, you could do a crawl to restaurants maybe as a group activity or part of a convention or something, but then that's a little bit of a different type of situation. Yeah.
We have the businesses too, because that's for the lunchtime. We have lunch and dinner available. And the starting day, always we see on the social media, oh, people from this company, we're trying this one for the Restaurants Week today. So they go have lunch with all their employees. And then you have these groups getting booked for their restaurants, which is really a nice way to discover them.
Yeah.
So they go for the lunch. So it's different crowds, lunch or evenings, but that's working very well. And they have lots of different crowds.
They're very effective for awareness campaigns and also to turn local residents into ambassadors. So when people come to visit, or when your residents travel abroad, they or travel outside the area, they can talk authoritatively about what there is to see and do, and know about the great restaurants in your town because they've been there then.
Yeah, definitely. And we get lots of bloggers and journalists wanting to try the Restaurants Week too. So they know they're going to have a variety of choice to eat from. So they write to us to come and have a stay in Sherbrooke during this event. Mm-hmm. And then we have all this publicity from them because of the Restaurants Week. The medias are really interested in it too. So it's really a nice way for us to get known, and then they have all their followers reading about it and then get known during the rest of the year.
So we have a couple comments. One is from Bianca in Sweden. She'd be happy to chat with you. So we will put you in touch. And then Turhi in Finland, she says, thank you for your good presentation. Yes, the Sami people in Finland are involved in tourism business. And in terms of cultural sustainability, their contribution is, of course, important. They are an important part of food tourism offerings and have, of course, as strength their traditional livelihood, reindeer herding, so reindeer dishes, traditions, and the way of life. But there are also some conflicts and some issues. Turhi, she attends a lot of our events. She's very active. So if you'd like to meet her as well, I'd be happy to connect you.
For sure. For sure.
Okay. So,
really.
One question back to the Indigenous, it's a comment. I would shy away from having non-Indigenous restaurants making Indigenous foods.
That's why we need to have them work with the Indigenous chef and make sure it's well represented, because it can be a slippery side. You're right about that. Like, we need to make it right and not have a cheap copy of, you know, something that would be made. So yeah,
make
definitely.
Sure that the Indigenous chef's name and tribe are prominent on the menu, not just
and approves it.
Dish,
yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No cultural appropriation here. Okay, and then there was one more question about I remember it's gone, but I remember it as something about the food being served in the tea rooms. Is that from the Loyalist era?
Yeah.
It is. Okay. I don't know what that means, but I guess you and the asker know what that means. So what does Loyalist food mean? What can you enlighten us?
It's the people that came to Canada during the colonization, actually the Loyalist era, that the people came to Canada. And the township trails, it's actually a Loyalist trail also. So it's really through our history, Eric. Then I can explain to you with William when you come and visit us, and make you visit it.
All right, sounds good. Well, I don't see any other questions in the room, but Marie-Claude, thank you very much. It was very informative, very interesting. Has renewed my interest in your destination. Every time we chat, or I chat with William, I'm excited to come. And I am really excited to see that you're doing more with Indigenous peoples as well. I will connect you with those two people. And for everyone else in the room, we will see you in about 15 minutes, where we will have Dylan Thuris, who is the co-author of the new Atlas Obscura book. He's going to be delivering the keynote for this year's FoodTreX Global Summit. Thank you all for attending. Marie-Claude, wonderful to work with you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.